$900 a month for a new gas SUV, or debt-free in a working electric car for less than 3 months of that payment. That gap is real, and it exists right now across America because fear and outdated recall headlines have crushed prices on electric vehicles that are actually fine. 6 of them, ranked. Real prices, real range. The one hidden flaw to check before you buy, and why each one keeps rolling for years while everyone else pays the bank. Drop your state and your current car payment in the comments. Then let us get into it. Number 6 on our list is the Chevrolet Bolt EV and its slightly bigger sibling, the Bolt EUV. Let us talk about the price of panic first, because that is exactly what happened here. A few years back, a battery fire recall absolutely destroyed the reputation of this car in the eyes of the average American shopper. Headlines screamed about fires, dealerships stopped selling them, and resale values collapsed almost overnight. But here is what most people never bothered to find out. General Motors responded to that recall by replacing entire battery packs, brand new, under warranty, at no cost to the owner. That means a huge number of Bolts on the road today are driving around with battery packs that are essentially fresh off the factory line, sitting inside a car body that lost half its market value because of a problem that, for those vehicles, no longer exists. That mismatch between perceived risk and actual risk is exactly why you are now finding these cars selling in the range of $10,000 to $12,000, and sometimes less if you catch a semi-novo or certified used deal. Now for the mechanical reality. This is not some tiny golf cart with training wheels. The Bolt delivers real range, north of 250 miles on a full charge in the right trim, which comfortably covers a full week of American commuting on a single charge for most drivers, and easily handles a long day trip without sweating it. The battery chemistry used here has proven itself to be stable and predictable over hundreds of thousands of real-world miles once the recall fix is in place, and fast charging support means a quick stop can add well over 100 miles back in under an hour on a road trip. Here is your buyer alert, the hidden weak point. Before you buy any Bolt, you need documentation. You need proof that the battery recall repair was completed, and ideally, you want the vehicle identification number checked against General Motors records showing the pack replacement date. Do not take a seller's word for it. Ask for paperwork. A Bolt with a confirmed new pack is one of the best deals in America. A Bolt without that confirmation is a car you need to walk away from or negotiate down hard until the seller proves it. The survival verdict on the Bolt is simple. This is a car engineered by one of the largest automakers on the planet, backed by a real nationwide service network, sold at a price that should honestly be illegal. Owners who have kept up with software updates report smooth, predictable daily driving with none of the drama the recall headline suggested. While your neighbor bleeds $900 a month for the next several years, your Bolt payment is already finished, forever. Number 5 is the second-generation Nissan Leaf, built roughly between the years 2018 and 2022. This car got hit with a reputation problem it did not deserve. The very first generation Leaf, the early version, used a battery system with no active liquid cooling. In hot climates, that led to real range loss over time, and that story stuck in the public imagination so hard that it dragged down the value of every Leaf that came after it, even the ones that fixed the problem completely. That is exactly the kind of outdated fear that is working in your favor right now. Nissan completely reworked the battery chemistry and management system for the second generation. The pack behaves far more predictably in daily American driving, whether you are commuting through Phoenix heat or Minnesota winters. And because of that lingering first-generation stigma, you can now find these second-generation hatchbacks sitting in the $7,000 to $9,000 range. For a modern electric hatchback with real dealership support at essentially every Nissan store in the country, that is an absurd price. The hidden weak point here is battery state of health. Nissan Leafs do not always come with a slick smartphone app showing you exact battery health like some competitors. So before buying, insist on a proper diagnostic scan, either at a Nissan dealer or through a qualified independent electric vehicle shop, to confirm the remaining usable capacity of the pack. Ask specifically how many of the battery health bars remain on the dashboard display, and get that verified in person, not just from a photo. The survival verdict is that this is the perfect second car for an American household. A short commute, school runs, grocery trips, all covered without burning a drop of gasoline, all covered by a car that costs less than most people spend on vacation, backed by parts availability at literally thousands of dealerships coast to coast, in a hatchback body that still swallows a stroller and a week of groceries without complaint. Number 4 is the Hyundai Kona Electric. And this one might be the most forgotten deal on the entire list. Somehow, the compact electric SUV segment got completely dominated in the public conversation by newer, flashier models, and the Kona Electric simply got left behind in the noise. That neglect translated directly into price. You can now find these in the $12,000 range for a genuinely capable small electric SUV, which is a number that should not exist for a vehicle this well engineered. Under the hood, or should we say under the floor, sits a 64 kilowatt-hour battery pack delivering up to 258 miles of range in ideal conditions, which is genuinely competitive even against cars costing 3 or 4 times as much when they were new. The thermal management system on this battery has held up impressively well in real-world reviews, meaning the range does not fall off a cliff in extreme heat the way some early electric vehicles did. On top of that, acceleration is quick off the line, and the interior technology package, from the digital displays to the driver assistance features, was ahead of most gasoline competitors in its price class at the time. Your buyer alert here focuses on charging port health and software updates. Because this model sat in a somewhat overlooked corner of the market, make sure any unit you are considering has received its most recent manufacturer software updates, and physically inspect the charging port for corrosion or damage, especially if the car spent time in a coastal or high humidity state. The survival verdict for the Kona Electric is that this is proof the best deals hide in plain sight. It is a legitimate small electric SUV, family practical, tech-loaded, criminally underpriced, and roomy enough for a real grocery run or a weekend bag for 2, simply because the market forgot it exists. Number 3 is the BMW i3, with or without the range extender option, often called the Rex. This is where the story gets almost unbelievable. When this car launched, it stunned the automotive world with a passenger cell built from carbon fiber reinforced plastic, the same category of material used in high-performance race cars and aircraft, wrapped around an aluminum chassis. This was not a cheap experiment. This car originally stickered well above $50,000. Today, thanks to depreciation and a market that simply moved on to bigger crossovers, you can find these rolling around for $6,000 to $8,000 in the United States. Let that sink in for a moment. A car built with aerospace-grade materials, engineered by one of the most respected automakers in the world, now costs less than a used pickup truck bedliner installation. The optional range extender version adds a small 2-cylinder gasoline engine that does not power the wheels directly, but instead kicks in to recharge the battery once it gets low, essentially eliminating range anxiety on longer American highway drives. It is a brilliant engineering solution that lets you enjoy electric driving around town while still having a safety net for the open road. The hidden weak point on the i3 centers on age-related components. Because these cars are getting into their first decade on the road, check the 12-volt auxiliary battery. Inspect the tires, since this car uses a unique low rolling resistance size that can be pricier to replace. And if you are looking at a range extender model, have a mechanic confirm the small gasoline engine has been serviced and the fuel system has not sat unused for long stretches, since ethanol-blended fuel can degrade in a tank that barely gets used. The survival verdict here is pure engineering romance. This is a cult classic German electric vehicle, a rolling piece of automotive history, driving for pennies on the dollar compared to what it cost new, tight and nimble enough to make city parking feel almost fun again, while delivering a genuinely unique driving experience you simply cannot get anywhere else at this price. Number 2 is the Kia Soul EV. Americans already love the boxy, upright, practical design of the gasoline Soul, and the electric version takes everything people already loved about that shape and adds an electric motor underneath. That familiarity, combined with a market that has been distracted by flashier electric crossovers, has pushed prices for the Soul EV down into the shockingly low range of $5,000 to $7,000. Mechanically, this is one of the simplest and most dependable electric vehicles you can own. The boxy shape is not just about looks either. It translates into a genuinely spacious cargo area and a tall, comfortable seating position that a lot of small electric hatchbacks simply cannot match. Maintenance costs are famously low, since there is no engine oil, no transmission fluid, no exhaust system, and no timing belt to worry about. Just tires, brakes, and cabin filters for the most part. The hidden weak point to check here involves the 12-volt battery and any software recall campaigns tied to charging behavior, which some early electric Kia and Hyundai models experienced. Get the vehicle identification number checked against open recall databases before you buy. Confirm any outstanding campaigns have already been completed, and ask when the 12-volt battery was last replaced, since that small part causes more no-start headaches than the main pack ever does. The survival verdict on the Soul EV might be the best-kept secret on this entire list. Delivery drivers and urban gig workers who have found this car already know the truth. It is quietly one of the most cost-effective vehicles you can put to work every single day in an American city, clocking mile after mile without gasoline bills eating your profit margin. And now, number 1. The absolute bargain of bargains in the entire United States market, the first-generation Fiat 500e. If you want proof that fear creates opportunity, this is it. In states like California, Texas, and Florida, where these compliance vehicles were originally sold in the highest numbers, you can now find them for $4,000 to $6,000. $4,000 to $6,000 for a fully functional, city-ready electric car. That is genuinely less money than a full set of premium tires and an alignment for a large gasoline SUV. Under that cute Italian body sits an electric drivetrain engineered with serious German precision, using a motor and control system developed with Bosch, one of the most respected automotive engineering companies on the planet. The battery pack in these cars has developed a reputation among owners for holding up remarkably well over time, especially considering how little most people paid for the vehicle in the first place. This was never meant to be a highway cruiser. It was built and tuned to be a nimble, quick, endlessly practical city runabout. And in that role, it remains almost unmatched for the money. Your final buyer alert applies here more than anywhere else on this list. Parts availability for this model can be more limited than mainstream Japanese, Korean, or American brands. So before you buy, locate a shop in your area, whether that is a Fiat dealer or an independent European electric vehicle specialist, who can actually service the car if something goes wrong. Confirm they can source parts and perform a proper battery health diagnostic before you commit. The survival verdict on the Fiat 500e is simple and a little bit poetic. This is the ultimate immortal city runabout, a car that will keep quietly rolling through American streets for years, costing you next to nothing, turning heads doing it, while people who could not see past outdated headlines keep writing car payment checks every single month. So let us bring it all together. Here is the real financial lesson hiding inside this entire countdown. Buying one of these 6 electric vehicles outright with cash does not just save you money on gasoline. It eliminates the single largest recurring debt in the average American household budget, the car payment itself. Redirect that $900 a month payment toward savings, toward paying down other debt, toward literally anything else, and watch how quickly your financial picture changes. Multiply that by every year you are not writing a car payment check, and the real number gets very hard to ignore. Before you buy any of these 6, do one thing without exception. Get a proper state of health test on the battery. Ask the seller directly. Get it verified through a dealer or a qualified independent shop. And never, ever skip this step just because the price tag looks tempting. Also, pull the vehicle history report. Confirm every open recall has actually been closed out. And take the car for a real test drive that includes at least one stretch of highway speed, not just a slow loop around the block. A great price on a car with a dying battery is not a bargain. It is a trap. A great price on a car with a healthy, verified battery, clean history, and completed recalls is exactly the kind of opportunity this entire video has been showing you. None of these 6 require you to gamble your entire savings, and that is exactly the point. Each one lets you test the electric lifestyle at a price where being wrong barely hurts. So here is our final question for you. Out of these 6 electric vehicles, which one would you park in your driveway today to finally stop burning money on gasoline and car payments? Drop your pick and your city in the comments below. We read every single one. Buy with your brain, not with your ego about badges and status. And if you want to catch the next wave of hidden bargains before the rest of the market figures them out, make sure you are subscribed, because these deals will not stay secret for long.